hey, she's coming back. Let's kick their ass. Nah. No, it's because Stephanie White's friends with everybody.
Obviously, I haven't been available as much as I would have liked, or, it's been so hard stop and go, and it's hard to get in a flow, but
because it is kind of a day-by-day thing and see how I feel, and, this type of injury, you don't know when I wake up, I'll feel, different than the day before, and we'll see. It could be a possibility, but I could also not be available for that game, too.
Talk about the Fever versus the Mercury, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to stay up till 9 o'clock and watch this game if Caitlin Clark's not playing. Priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for her return.
What happens when the WNBA's biggest rookie star is thrown into Game 30, with no training camp, no ramp-up, and 3 separate injuries in the same season? Caitlin Clark just revealed to Sue Bird what that really felt like, and it's a side of pro basketball most fans never see. From a quad strain to back-to-back groin injuries, the stop-and-go grind became, in her own words, the most agonizing part of the season. But here's the twist, this isn't just about her.
Stretch? Do I need to get a little rubbed out? Do I need some icy hot? What's going on here? So I think it's been a balance of understanding my body.
Yeah.
And I've never really dealt with injury, and that's probably been a challenge in itself because
now, with all of that being said, we know Caitlin Clark has been dealing with these injuries. She's been getting a lot of criticism about the way the team is playing without her.
It's about what her battle means for the entire league's future. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
Yes, I can improve and get a lot better, and I understand that. And I feel that's probably been one of the positives I've taken out of even this year.
Now, one thing I can say is that she is not shying away from any questions at all.
I don't think people on the outside always realize how much time it takes to be able to play at the level we play at. It's just been so challenging, being active and playing 4 games and then not, and not feeling the best.
Obviously, I haven't been available as much as I would have liked, or, it's been so hard stop and go, and it's hard to get in a flow, but
Imagine this, your very first WNBA season, and instead of easing in with preseason games, you're suddenly in the middle of the year, around Game 30, going up against players who have been grinding for months.
Oh, I need you to play this way. I need you to be extra careful. I need you to blah, blah, blah. I feel like Stephanie White has put a governor on Caitlin Clark. When Caitlin Clark is saying, if I'm going to play make, there are going to be some turnovers with it. The way she was walking and moving all-Star week gave me hope for her. It wasn't a lot worse and a season-ending thing. They have to be smart, though.
That's where Caitlin Clark landed. No slow build, no time to learn the pace. Just straight into the fire against defenders who already had their rhythm. She told Sue Bird it felt like she was trying to sprint before learning how to walk in this league, and once it started, the hits just kept coming. It began with a quad strain. Not terrible enough to shut her down for months, but enough to throw off every part of her game.
Being a voice for them, because that's what I am when I'm playing, so you gotta still be that consistent voice when I'm sitting on the bench, so I try to do that as much as I can for them. And
priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for her return. I think Stephanie White built this team with her own agenda. I think she could not see her past her own personal belief set.
She tried to come back quickly, because that's what rookies do, they want to prove themselves. But then came the left groin issue. That one hurt even worse because she barely had a gap between healing the first injury and feeling something pull again. And as soon as she thought she was in the clear, the right groin flared up. It was like a domino effect, one part of the body overcompensating for the other, week after week. The problem wasn't just the injuries themselves, it was the rhythm they broke. She'd rehab, start to feel good, get thrown into a game, and then have to stop all over again. That constant stop and go is brutal for any athlete, but in the pros, it can mess with your head more than your body. There's no gradual ramp up, no finding your legs. You're either in the lineup fighting through it, or you're watching from the bench hoping no one forgets you're the star they came to see.
How this is going to affect things, we know. The ratings aren't going to be as high. We just saw that. We just saw what that looked like to the All-Star game.
We try different things and see what works well, but I think that's a great thing about our team. We have a lot of depth, so if something's not working in the game, you just go to the next and try something. And
Clark admitted she kept second-guessing everything. Was that tightness just soreness from the game, or was it something tearing? Was she overreacting, or ignoring a warning sign? All of this while millions of people were watching every move she made. Fans weren't just tuning in, they were analyzing possession by possession, wondering if she was slowing down or playing hurt. There's no hiding on that stage. And the physicality? Night after night, she faced guards full-courting her from tip-off, bigger forwards hitting her on every screen.
I've never been a patient person my entire life, so this has definitely tested me a little bit, but I think it's going to be really good for me. And like I said, I've just tried to approach it in the best way I possibly can. You know, I can't change it. And
expects us to compete for a championship in May. Well, that's not realistic. Like, we've got to make sure that we're taking our daily steps, and we're getting better, and we're stacking days, and we put the best team and the best combinations on the floor that we can.
Imagine trying to push through a right groin strain while someone is bodying you baseline to baseline. There was a game where she barely crossed half court before contact knocked her sideways, and yet she still had to keep the offense flowing. The mental load of bracing for it every trip down the floor can be just as draining as the pain itself.
The team is lifeless? Sophie Cunningham coming back to Phoenix? And the team is lifeless? That is the coach's fault.
You know, I think the medical team has done a really good job of, doing my rehab every single day, staying in a routine, coming in, getting shots up. But more than anything, I think just focusing on being a really good teammate. Absolutely. Like, you can play pickup, you can do workouts, you can do practice, all of that, but there's nothing like getting to put on your uniform and going out here and getting to compete with your teammates.
At one point, her mom sent her a text saying she needed to think about herself first, before the team, before the fans. It wasn't meant selfishly, it was a reminder that no one else knows how your body feels, and you can't count on anyone else to protect it the way you will. That little message stuck with her because up until then, she was playing through anything just to avoid being seen as fragile. The thing is, it wasn't only about pride. The numbers show the Fever's viewership spiked hard in the games she played, and dipped when she sat out. That's a lot of pressure for one rookie to carry. The league, the team, and the TV networks all know people are showing up to see Caitlin. So even if no one says it, everyone's feeling the same thing, she's got to be out there.
Because it is kind of a day-by-day thing and see how I feel, and, this type of injury, like, you don't know when I wake up, I'll feel, different than the day before, and we'll see. It could be a possibility, but I could also not be available for that game too.
Which raises the bigger question, how much of this grind is down to her decisions, and how much falls on the way the league handles its rookies? The schedule doesn't slow down just because you're 22 and adjusting to the pro game. There's no extra rest built in when you're the marquee name drawing record crowds. In the end, Clark said the worst part wasn't the pain, it was that never-ending cycle of starting to feel good, only to be slammed back to square one. That rhythm breaker, that constant yank between hope and setback, wore her down more than anything.
If she asks for it, you have to refuse it. You have to sell her on being able to win in Indiana. It would be the biggest fumble in the history of sports.
And it's what made her rookie year not just a test of her game, but a test of how the WNBA actually protects the players it depends on most. Clark's season wasn't just about playing through pain. It showed how far the league will push its top stars to stay on the floor,